What if reinvention isn't about becoming someone new, but about changing the way we connect? What if experiences, not achievements, are the real currency of success? And what if the most powerful moments in business and life are the ones you can't put on a balance sheet, but feel forever? Welcome back to Reinvention Real Talk, the podcast where we explore what it really means to reinvent your life, your work, and your identity, especially when the old rules just do not longer fit. Today's guest brings a completely different lens to reinvention, one rooted in human connection, emotional resonance, and intentional experiences. Marisa Wong is a global experience architect whose work has spanned over 65 countries, producing curated moments for brands, organizations, and individuals who want more than access. They want impact, and from field level access at major sporting events to intimate relationship shaping experiences with athletes and leaders. Marisa has redefined how companies use sponsorships, storytelling, and connection to create measurable ROIs and unforgettable moments. But what fascinates me most about Marisa's work isn't the scale, it is the intention. Marisa, welcome to Reinvention Real Talk.
Thank you, Karen, for having me.
So excited to do this interview. I want to get right into the nitty gritty of it and just go into your mind. You have helped so many people, and I want my listeners, those that don't know you, I want them to find out who you are because definitely you bring a lot of gems to this podcast.
Even just creating this podcast in the first place. A
Oh,
lot of people always think about, do I set up one? Should I do it? And you did it. And you are
yeah.
serving so many great people. So I'm here
Oh,
and happy to serve with you as well.
thank you. I appreciate that so much. Now, Marissa, before the global projects, the luxury experiences, and the strategy, who were you before this work found you? What version of Marissa existed before you understood the power of experience?
Great question. The Marissa before the corporate world was someone who had the zest for life within sports, in terms of also just wanting to understand what business was. And I was just embarking on going to university. And, as we were coming out from university, from high school and throwing into university, we have this open-mindedness and of the unknown, and you just have this sense of awe of the world. And through university, it kind of helps you carve out a place for you of where your expertise should be. Right? If you're going to business, with your politics, with your science, you're kind of categorized in an area. But thankfully, I was categorized in an area of business which is very transferable in many different industries. So it gave me that foundation. But I
Yes.
always followed my heart, my true north, which guided me in the sports world.
Mm,
And so growing up playing sports since I was young, 4 years old, I always had a passion of watching sports, playing sports. And I thought to myself, well, why couldn't we combine my love and passion for sports and business? And
okay.
so helped with our varsity team with all of their events, being the announcer. And then I got a feel for the taste of, oh, this can be a career.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough where I worked for a company called Rogers, and they started creating their own sponsorship and events team.
Mhm.
And I interned there and then grew my corporate career in the business of specifically around sponsorship in sports. And then we also dove into sponsorship of culture, arts. And so it gave me a great foundation to really understand what
Mhm.
it's like to support events across Canada, across the world, and then as well as understanding how does the corporate structure work?
Yeah.
Like, what do we do with this?
Mhm.
How do we really create a strong brand? And then also on the other side is understanding how do we really create impact
Mhm.
within sports from a grassroots perspective? How do we support local athletes? And then
Mhm.
as well as pro athletes, and then let alone buying teams, and
Yeah.
then let alone activating our brand and making sure that the fan experience is good.
Mhm.
So taking all of those experiences over the 10 years, I then realized okay, I'm meant for more. And our
Okay.
department knew that, and they started this department called VIP Experiences.
Okay.
And how can you really create a great experience for your customers? And
Hmm.
not just for the fans, but also for your clients who spend a lot of money with you.
Yeah.
How can you reward them for their uh, contribution to your business? How can you thank them? And so I had this hat on to say, hey, with all the assets that we do have with our sponsorships, how can we create these fun, unique experiences for our clients?
Hmm.
And that's what sparked actually my journey into creating my world experiences. It
Okay.
was something where I saw that instead of just doing it for us in Canada, why can't we
Hmm.
do this internationally? And why can't we do this for multiple brands?
Hmm.
I had a really supportive director at the time that just said to me, Marissa, why are you doing this for us when you can do this for yourself? And that's one thing
Oh.
that I say to a lot of leaders. If you can spark the change in your team,
Hmm.
that can go far more than you would even imagine. And
Yes.
those words stuck with me even to this day. And he said to me, by the way, just letting you know, just a reminder, you don't have kids, you don't have a
Hmm.
mortgage, you don't have a partner. And I said, thank you for pointing out the obvious. Like, okay, now where are we going with this? And
Received.
right? Message received. And he said, is this just about you have nothing to lose,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And this is the best time to step
Hmm.
into the unknown and take
Yeah.
leaps of faith in yourself and to take that
Yes.
plunge. And at first I was like, oh my goodness.
Mhm.
What do you mean set up my own business? What do you mean leave this? Like, this is my dream job. He's like,
Yeah.
don't tell me that this is where you're going to be for the rest of your life. But in my mind, I was thinking, yes,
Oh,
this is
uh-huh.
where I want to be for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And so that reality check helped already plant that seed. And
Hmm.
it took a few years, or sorry, a few months to hum and
Okay.
haw on it. And it was starting to brew in my belly. And
Hmm.
one day, it was acts of gods where I was fired from the business and I was like, okay, now what the heck do I do? And
Yeah.
immediately, ding ding, because that already was planted in my mind,
Hmm.
the next day I had a few clients knock on my door and said, can you run our events for us? And I
Oh my
said,
goodness.
hold on, I need some time to process everything first.
Yeah.
But it was already in motion that we were gonna was gonna set up the business and then was ready to rock, and that was about 9 years ago. And here we are.
Wow. So almost though the seed was planted, it was destiny. He put that seed in your head, but then the universe delivered it to you through that whole experience that you went through being let go and then people coming to you. So it's always our destiny. I believe our destiny, yes, we have to work for it and go
Oh,
look for it,
yes.
but it finds us.
Oh,
And I love what you said about, I know that he was like, kind of like, hey, stating the obvious here regarding you don't have those responsibilities. It's something that I always tell younger people, and especially like I have a 24-year-old daughter who's going to be 25 soon, and I tell her exactly what he said. You don't have those responsibilities. If you want to go chase your dream, we're in Miami, but if you want to go chase your dream in Dubai, in London, in the middle of Kansas, go do it. That you have no responsibility right now and can,
agreed.
yeah.
And even for those who do have responsibilities, like he was even telling me a friend of his in university had just started her own agency, but she
Okay.
also just got married and just had a child. And if she's doing it,
Yeah.
right? So she
Yeah.
has all three. She just started her business, has a
Yeah.
child and a mortgage.
Hmm.
It's not something that should stop you either.
Yeah.
If you have
Agree.
that fire in your belly to go do it, do
Yeah.
it. And
100%.
the best thing is to invest in yourself. And there is never ever a perfect time.
Hmm. Never.
It's just
Yeah.
better to do it now and
Hmm.
then, go with the flow on how it grows.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just say, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. And then if
Hmm.
I waited till later, 8 months would have, or 8 years would have passed, and I could have had grown and learned and developed and, and collect the data on what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
There is no formula out there
Hmm.
that's going to give you, hey, this is exactly how you do it play by play. Things change, right?
Yeah.
Industry changes, economy changes, demand changes, but the
Hmm.
key thing is to be resilient and to
Yes.
pivot and to
Yeah.
continue to adapt to what the industry, what your customers are asking for, but
Yeah.
also make sure it's aligned to who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Never
Yeah. You have to have the
sacrifice who you
passion.
are.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
100%. Yes. Now, Marissa, most people chase success through accumulation. You built a career around curation. What inner rewiring had to happen for you to value depth over volume?
Karen, that's a great question. I, if I were to look at, just a couple of the words that you're pulling out there,
Mhm.
curation, the volume, who I had to become, essentially is what comes out of it in my mind.
Okay.
And I'm grateful for all the lessons along the journey. Not only are you curating the
Hmm.
events as, year over year, you learn from each of those events, but you as a human also grow year
Yeah.
over year, right?
Yeah.
You expand, you gather the knowledge, and then you want to do it bigger, better, or more efficient, more effective. And that's the key that I see, and from a pattern in the industry that really works for a lot of those who are successful, is to
Hmm.
continue to grow,
Hmm.
continue to learn from what you've done and how can you make it better, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I not only, again, I was saying earlier, is not only are you curating the events, but you're also curating yourself. You have to evolve and
Yeah.
grow. And
Hmm.
if you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Yes.
If you're a plateau, you're standing still, your heart beats like this, you're basically
Yeah.
dead. So you
Yeah.
got to continue to grow. And in life, there are ebbs and flows.
Hmm.
And especially in the events industry, you're
Yeah.
not only having one plan, you have backup plan B, C, D, E,
Yes.
F, G. And
Yeah.
whatever one you need to play, do it. And I feel like there's multiple versions of me, but
Hmm.
nonetheless, I stay authentic to who I am. I'm that playful person. I
Yeah.
am that carefree, charismatic. Okay, that's happening. Okay, what do we do there?
Yeah.
Let's just figure out and let's implement plan B then.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not working. Okay, let's do a mix of plan B and plan D.
Hmm.
And that's life, right?
Yeah.
And there's some things that you don't know or you didn't expect it, but what you got to do is play with it and be like, okay, life, thank you for showing me that. Let's
Yes.
go with it. And it
Yeah.
always turns out better
Hmm.
than you had imagined.
100%. Yeah, no, it does. Absolutely. And I love that you say go with the flow because a lot of people are very rigid
Oh,
and
yes. Oh,
they make their
yes.
life more difficult than it needs to be, you know. And I'm not saying, hey, be a go with the flow kind of person. Yes, there's structure there, you know,
Yes.
but if there's hurdles, like you said, let's go with C and D together, you know, and
Why
just kind of
not?
work it out. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially in the events industry, which I've seen is that a lot of folks are very project management
Mhm.
oriented. And if it's not by this way, I don't know
Yeah.
what to do,
Yeah.
right? And I mentor and a lot of my clients, um, where I mentor them in terms of just having to loosen up the reins a little bit. And
Hmm.
if you play in this box constantly, you're not allowing for the free flow of new ideas, the
Yeah.
possibilities. And God brings in so much more than
Hmm.
you would could ever imagine. And
Yes.
that's one of the things. It's like I love your background because you're
Mhm.
by allowing that air to breathe, you're allowing yourself to sparkle. You
Yes.
can allow the magic to flow right in, and
Yes.
there's other people who can co-create with you that you never even thought of. There
Yeah.
could be opportunities that come in that you're like, oh, maybe pivoting over here into this venue is actually a lot better. Maybe
Yeah.
having this background for the photo op is a lot better. Maybe
Yeah.
going to that event in that day instead of today is better because the weather is better and it's a better game. Team A versus Team B is better than what we had expected for today.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things I challenge a lot of folks is like, why do you need to be so rigid? Why do you
Hmm.
need to have your itinerary set from morning to evening, whether it's a personal itinerary, whether it's your corporate itinerary, whether it's your team itinerary? When you allow the flow, allow for areas to move a little bit of a Jenga, you will
Yes.
be more pleasantly surprised. So that's why I
Yeah.
always challenge everybody, Karen, can
Yeah.
we be a little bit more flexible?
I love that you said you got to sometimes, you know, God's plans are better than what you expected. And I don't know if you've seen this meme on social media. It's like a one picture of like single rose and it says your plan. And then
Yes,
the next is God's plan and it's like 24 roses. And you never
yes.
know. Yeah, you absolutely
Never
never know.
know.
You never
There's
know.
so many amazing stories about that. I don't know if I have time to share a
Yeah, of
story
course.
here.
Yeah.
But so one of the things I said to our team is that, hey, okay, let's just go with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens. And we had an event where some of the guests were late and it was flowing through, and we said, okay, well, we don't know if they're all going to come and so forth, but we already bought the tickets. We're going to continue to go regardless. Like, let's just plan as if they're going to go.
Yeah.
And if not, then we go. That's
Yeah.
okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a backup plan, we will have the reservations for the other group still for them. If they late arrivals, they can go and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what? Can we do that? And it's like, of course you can.
Yeah.
Why not? Right? But it actually turned out better than expected because we had a suite, and it ended up being because we made good friends with the suite owners and so forth. We all were able to be in the suite together because the
Mm.
group ended up coming later, and we ended up making it work because they came backstage and so forth. And that night was a game changer for everybody. As stressed as they were getting off the plane and getting there, we got them there no problem. Our team was able to welcome them, and they had a brilliant time. And the owners of the our clients were so worried and stressed, but they're just like, we were having a great time. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? Right? And I think about this, and it's like most people would have been like, "Oh no, it's this can't happen, so we're gonna have to cancel things," and then no one has fun. But why
Yes.
not allow at least half of them or whoever is there just to have fun, and whatever happens will happen. If it's meant to
Yeah.
be, it's meant to be. And
Yes.
that's where I challenge everybody is that no matter what, whether it's a dinner reservation, or whether it's a party, or whether it's your flight, set the intention that it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I love
Set the
that.
intention that you already know that you're going to be there, you're going to have a great time. And
Mm-hmm.
while you're getting there, you're having a great time. You're enjoying the process. And you're not coming in grumpy and you're, that, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. Be like, wow, I get to be on a flight. I get to go to the stadium and watch this amazing sold out show. I
Mm-hmm.
get to spend time with my team. I get to meet new people that I've worked with and I've never even met before. And
Mm-hmm.
then when they get there, it's like, then they breezed right in through like backstage and got there. And it's like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
2 hours ago I was on a plane stressed out. Now I'm here and having the best time ever. This
Yeah.
is the most fun I've had all day. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. I love stories like that where everything just works out in the end.
It always does if you want it to, but if
Yes.
you think it's not going to work out, oh, my plane's going to miss
Yeah.
taking off. We're not going to be able to get in.
Mhm.
My team's not going to be able to do this. And like you're thinking of all the obstacles
Yes.
versus all of the green lights.
Mm-hmm.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
So
And I
think
think that,
about green lights.
yeah, and that's everything in life, in life, in your business life, in relationship, and children, and just everything, just even like sometimes when I'm running late, if I start stressing, saying, I'm gonna be late, oh my God. No, if I just say, you know what, every light's gonna be green, I'm gonna make it. As a matter, I make it usually like with 2 minutes to spare, thinking I
Bingo,
was
Karen.
for sure, yeah. Now, Marissa, you treat events as the beginning of a journey, not the end.
Yes.
Why do you think humans remember how something made them feel more than what they were given?
Well, if you think about even to your own moments in your life when you're going
Mhm.
to an event and so forth, we go to thousands of events throughout our whole lifetime, right? Whether it's a friend's birthday, whether it is a Christmas party, whether it's a dinner, and so forth. What are ones that you remember or the ones that you're going to talk about?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you think about it, and I ask a lot of people, and I would love to ask you too, what was the most memorable event that you've been to?
I think just like when it's easy going, when I'm with friends, when everyone is feeling comfortable and good, everything's flowing, you feel considered, you're kind of a part of a group at that moment, you're a little
Yeah.
tribe right there, and it's just free flowing and great.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so that you said a great word there is the feeling. You
Mm-hmm.
remember the feeling of a bit free flowing,
Yeah.
fun, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's a pattern that I've seen in a lot of the events that are
Yeah.
remembered is the feeling that they get. They feel safe,
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
felt like they had fun. They felt
Yeah.
like they were taken care of. They
Mm-hmm.
felt like it was stress-free. They
Yeah.
felt like they can just be themselves. They
Mm-hmm.
felt like they can just play and have fun. They
Yeah.
felt connected with the people that were there.
Mm-hmm.
So it always goes back to that feeling. So for our team, we always strive on how do we want to make people feel
Mm-hmm.
at the event and after the event. And then
Yes.
for our customers' perspective, how can we make our customers feel like everything's taken care of for them? That they
Mm-hmm.
know that they don't have to worry,
Yeah.
that all the details, everything that they asked for will be delivered and more.
Yes. Yes. Which is so
And
important.
when so important because if your customers and their clients feel so
Mm-hmm.
loved, taken care of, able to relax, able to just have fun, that
Mm-hmm.
then they remember that and it's like, I want to do that again
Yeah.
immediately, right?
Yes.
Even think
Yes.
about your kids when
Mm-hmm.
they're playing in the playground. They don't have
Yeah.
to worry about anything because they know
Yeah.
mommy's got it. They know
Yeah.
mommy Karen. I don't have to worry about safety. I don't
Yes.
have to worry about my food. I don't have to worry about my
Yeah.
clothes because she's got me.
Yes. Yeah.
So we take
Wonderful.
that same feeling. How can we be the mums, the dads, to create this safe playground for our customers
Mm-hmm.
to completely play in, that they know
Mm-hmm.
that, no media and they can just play. They just can let their hair down. Everything's taken care of for them. They'll get home safe. They'll get the great food. They have the great music. There's going to be people there. If anything they need, directions and so forth, they've got them. And our team is on site to ensure that. We are the mummies and daddies to make
Yes.
sure that the kids just play and just have so much fun. That's it.
And I think it's wonderful. You're giving them that experience. And now let's go into, because you not only work, like say in Canada or just United States, you literally work across cultures, countries. So in being with so many people in so many different parts of the world, what is universal about human connection, no matter the language, status, or industry that you've learned?
Great question there, Karen. Again, you're really good at this, by the way. So I'm calling you right now from UK, so London,
Oh,
UK.
wow. Okay. Mhm.
And so time difference, the
Yeah.
time shifts, we play in them all.
Yeah.
What I've learned is, especially being in the sports arena, is that no matter what language you speak sports. You
Hmm.
speak passion, the love for the sport, and it's
Hmm.
the energy, the body language that you show. So we
Hmm.
have teams that have, or companies that have teams all around the world, and so they'll have companies, so they'll have an office based in like Singapore, in
Hmm.
China, in India, Vietnam, and then as well as Europe, Canada, US,
Hmm.
South America, and they're bringing them all together. And some of them have met each other for the first time. And so, yes, they've seen each other on Zooms and so forth. And yes, English, they talk English online.
Yeah.
But some of them, it's not their first language. But
Hmm.
when they come together, they play and they're coming to an event, let's say an F1 or coming to FIFA or it's the Olympics. They're
Yeah.
there to celebrate. They're
Yeah.
there to stand behind whichever country they're from and
Hmm.
to support the players, the athletes that are there, and to get to know their team.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, we can use Google Translate and talk to each other, but they
Hmm.
speak the love of sport. They
Hmm.
speak the
Yeah.
love of that art, whoever the artist, if
Yes.
they're going to the concert, if they're sitting there, like we were sitting there last year with everybody with watching Beyonce, they
Hmm.
see the love and passion that that artist is bringing, and they're just singing. They're like, their English is not their first language, but they're belting out more
Yes.
than the rest of us who
Word by
English is
word,
our
word
first
for word.
language. And I love watching that because that's
Yeah.
the power of human connection.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
connect on soul to soul level and we talk based on human, how our body language is, right? The
Hmm.
feeling of music, the
Yeah.
dance, how we talk, like that's the level of communication. And I feel that we've lost that
Hmm.
in our today's world behind the screen with Zoom, with emails, with text messages. And that's why the power of experience is so important. like
Mm-hmm.
face-to-face experience. I would love to meet you face-to-face in Miami next time I'm there. And
Absolutely.
doing this live would be so
Yeah.
different than
Oh,
behind the screen because
yes.
your energy, I vibe off your energy and right,
Yes.
and we'll bring more to the audience. And then the
Yeah.
audience, if it's live, they will stand up and start dancing if we're dancing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But behind the screen, you can hide a little bit.
And taking that, and I work a lot in relationship coaching, and in just
Mm,
even taking of what you just said, if we were to do this in person, yes, I'm feeling your energy through the screen, but I would feel it 100 times more in
yes.
person. And when people, I'm coaching them and we're talking about relationships, and this goes to even, I'm not saying that online dating is bad, but it's skewed a lot because I always tell people, how do I find someone? Go out, go to the
Yes.
happy hour, go with one friend because what a person you may swipe right, I said,
Yes.
but in person, you may say, oh my God, this is the most magnetic, fabulous person. The
Yes.
connection is so coming back to your story and my story with the relationship coaching, putting that, it's the connection that you feel, that energy. That's just amazing.
100%. And you know
Hmm.
what's so funny? A lot of the ladies have asked me, like, Marissa, you go to all these sporting events. Like, it must be so easy to find these men. I'm like, yes, but I'm out at these events not finding men. I'm happy
Yeah.
to bring you so you can meet these men. And we can
Yeah.
bring Karen as your relationship coach. And you guys can have this amazing experience at these sporting events and have a sea full of men. The men would love it. But the key
Yes.
thing is that you have to get out there, like you said,
Out
meet
there.
people because how a person's profile on screen is very different, and you
100.
may connect with his or her energy so much deeper just by feeling their vibe.
So something, oh, I'm attracted to this person, but never would you have if you just swiped left. And then also the emotion, we go back on the emotions, which is just something
Yes.
completely different. This past year, five, I liked the music, but I wasn't a huge fan of Coldplay. But I liked their music,
Mm.
and I was like, I kept seeing reviews. Oh my God, it's an amazing concert. It's a once in a lifetime event. They came to Miami. I asked friends, no one wanted to go with me. I said, you know what? I'm going to buy my own ticket. I
Yes,
just wanted
girl.
to see it because it was amazing. I went and I can tell you, Marissa, now I am the biggest Coldplay fan. Again, it was the experience, it was everything they put into it, all the effects. I said, "Oh my God." But it was like dopamine hit after hit after hit after hit, everything they did, how they
Yes.
had the show laid out and the special
Orchestrated.
effects. It was, yeah, it was just amazing that I'm like literally I wanted to go to I wanted to go to London like to a show after. I'm like,
You
how
should
many
have
shows do they
come
have?
because we had five here, and it was like,
Yes.
or no, that was Taylor Swift's five. There were a few, and our clients went back to back,
Yes, it was
and
like 9 shows or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was one of those things where he bought it for his wife for her 50th birthday.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to take her to Coldplay because that was the first song that they started to dance to
Oh, I
when they
love that.
first started dating.
Mm.
And, it was moments like that when he told us a story why I was like, I'm so glad that, you came to us because I love helping couples and families bring
Yes.
their dreams to life, right? He's like, I didn't think it was possible. It was sold out. How did you
Mhm.
help us do this? Like, we got you, no problem. And to
Yeah.
hear their stories afterwards, exactly like you said it, it's just like
Yeah.
we were up, we were dancing, we were just like little kids again. It's like, but that's what shows are supposed to be about.
To feel
Live.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you ain't getting your audience up on stage or like on their feet dancing, you got to revamp
Mhm.
your whole show because
Yeah.
that is what live events should be doing, making
Yeah.
people feel.
Yeah. And that's what you deliver. You deliver to your clients is
Yes.
that feeling. You make sure that that event is curated for them to that feeling. And I love that. It's
Otherwise, they
wonderful.
can do it themselves. There's
Yeah.
no point in us.
There's not, yeah, you just what exactly, exactly. You bring that feeling to them, which is fantastic. And they never forget that feeling. They
Yes.
never forget that feeling. Yeah.
But it's so much what you're doing in terms of the relationship coaching is like, how do you relate to someone, right? How do you really truly connect? And it
Yeah.
goes back to that human connection is understanding person A,
Yep.
who are they?
Mhm.
Understanding person B, what do
Mhm.
they need? What do they want? How you can connect them and bring them together.
Yeah.
And how do you create that event that allows for that playground to
Yeah.
enable them to play, to have fun and to
Mhm.
connect?
Yeah.
That's
It's
really
so
the secret
important.
sauce behind it.
It is so important, yes. Now, Marissa, let me ask you, have you had to unlearn a traditional business rule because it conflicted with what you knew actually worked on a human level?
Oh, there are so many, Karen. I think society has programmed us from our early days of schooling to
Yeah.
be good students, to
Yeah.
be, good citizens and so
Mhm.
forth. And do not
Mhm.
get me wrong, I am grateful for all those lessons.
Of
But on the
course.
flip side, if you really want to be a successful businesswoman,
Mhm.
entrepreneur, you got to go out there and get it.
Yeah.
You have to stay hungry. You have to innovate, grow, pivot, learn, take initiatives and risks that we didn't learn at in school, right? We also didn't learn this big thing called financial literacy.
Oh,
And
yes. Mhm.
right? And it's one thing where it's like I had to unlearn a lot of programming
Mhm.
from schooling and then relearn from some of the most greatest minds in the world and say, how did you get there? I
Yeah.
want to learn from you and the
Mhm.
likes of like Tony Robbins or the likes of Jay Abraham, a lot of amazing business men and women out
Mhm.
there, um,
Mhm.
and just say, how can I learn from you?
Yeah.
And reprogram your mind in thinking that it is possible. And
Yes.
so I find that, one day when I do have my own children, like you, Karen, it's something where I want to instill in them so that they can see that the world has this infinite possibilities. You
Mhm.
don't have to be just a doctor or a nurse or a teacher or anything. If you want to, that's great. But you can
Mhm.
be more than that. You can be anything.
Yeah.
And also understand that the world is your oyster, the world is your playground,
Mhm.
and there is no glass ceiling. It's just your mind is the limit. And it's so if you constantly dream big and set those big audacious goals, go for it, shoot for the
Yeah.
moon. And so what? Okay, you may go to Mars instead. I still
Yeah.
think that that's better.
Mhm. And not
And like,
trying. Yeah.
right? And the
Mhm.
key thing that I see in today's generation, and the younger generation, is a lot of them aren't trying. They're okay with the status quo.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
okay with, oh, I'm just here for a job. No, you're
Yeah.
not here for a job. You're here to make an impact. You
Yeah.
have the amazing gifts that God has given you, just like I do, just like you do. So,
Mhm.
how are you going to use your time wisely on this planet to make an impact for the greater good of other people?
Mhm.
And that's one thing that I always challenge others is that, like, don't just do what your boss told you to do.
Yeah.
Come up with ideas, challenge it, think. Like, you have the palm of your hand, this web of
Yeah.
ideation and creativity. So,
Mhm.
how can you learn from that and bring that into this world?
Mhm.
And I just hope that our generation, like us,
Mhm.
right, has wants to carve our own pathway and try something different. And that's one thing I admire about you, Karen, is setting up your own studio, your own,
Thank you.
podcast to be able to inspire other people is inspiring.
Yeah.
And to know that it is possible. And people only think about doing it and then they talk about it and then that dream dies. And just to know that it is possible, it's so beautiful to be a witness to.
Yes. No, thank you so much. And yeah, it is. It's hard and like you said that seed was planted and it took you months to go and to do your own thing. Like I kept thinking about the podcast. And I was the segment contributor on the morning talk show in Latin TV, but I was like, "No, that's like you said, safe. It's safe. I go there, everything's
Yes.
done for me." And then finally one day I was like, "I'm going to do this." And I had no idea, but I just started, like, and then all of a sudden, like, it took me like 6 or 7, 8 hours, and like, one day and the next day, like 7 hours. But then I had a whole podcast set up and then approved by iHeart. And then, it's just, you just start going. And then now I'm at the point that now, I have sponsorships. So it's wow, you little by little, you just have to take that chance on yourself, like you said.
If you don't, then why should
Scary.
anybody invest in you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be seen, everybody wants to be heard, or, wants an opportunity, but you got to go get it first. And you
Yeah.
got to prove and invest in yourself that I am worthy and
Yeah.
what I'm doing here is
Hmm.
worthy. And it is for, to support other people. It's not just me, me, me. It's I just want the spotlight. It's like, how can
Yes.
your information, what you're bringing to the audience, be of value?
And I'm sure you're like me, Marissa, where when you get those DMs or when you get those messages like, oh, this impacted me or this made a
Yes.
difference, and I listen, it's like, oh my gosh, this is why I'm doing this. This is the reason that's the reward, which is
People,
wonderful.
you can't actually put a value on that.
You can't. You can't. You're just like, okay, this is why I'm doing it. When you hear those stories that, oh, you gave me enough courage to go do this. Whether it's starting a gym. I had one time a lady say to me, I just got divorced. I'm really down on myself, blah, blah, blah. I had a trainer on. You gave me the inspiration by having her on. I could actually do this. I wasn't old enough. I think she was like close to 60. I'm not, I still have youth inside me. I thought I was over. And I'm like, okay, great. Oh my gosh. She heard this. I was able to bring this person's voice onto this podcast, and they heard
Yes.
that, and that person's guest voice resonated. So it was wonderful. Now, let me ask you something about you. What does it cost a leader like yourself internally to be always on in a high stakes environment?
Mm. I think this is a million dollar question
Yeah.
that we're always trying to refine this formula.
Uh-huh.
And over the years, I got it down to a science where it's wellness.
Mm-hmm.
It's making sure that you refill your cup first.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot give from an empty cup.
Yeah.
You cannot drive a car that has no gas in it.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure you're putting premium
Mm-hmm.
gasoline or premium electric battery in there so that you can drive your beautiful car.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the vessel that God gave us, and we got to take care of it because it's got to last at least 150 years, right?
Yeah.
So, what I do daily is number one, first and foremost, is my meditation practice so that I can ground, making sure that I'm connected to source, that I am living the day intentionally. And so anything else that is outside of that direction is just noise.
Mm-hmm.
And I make sure I listen to the music that's driving me forward.
Yeah.
And then I go and do movement, whether it's Pilates, I love Pilates.
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps my core together.
Yeah.
It's fun, it's challenging, I get a good sweat,
Mm-hmm.
and it's my 45 minutes, just me, the music, the reformer, my fellow classmates in there gets my sweat on. And if I don't have that class, and I actually go for a walk or yoga,
Mm-hmm.
or I do a high intensity hit workout
Uh-huh.
class, just to get that body movement, getting
Yeah.
that, the dopamine hitting, and then as well as after that, I make sure I am always tuned into something where I can learn, whether it's a
Okay.
podcast or I'm reading my
Mm-hmm.
book. Right now, I am reading Scaling by Benjamin Hardy, a great book. Tony Robbins recommended it. I'm actually reading for the third time,
Mm-hmm.
just because repetition.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
audible, so as I'm walking or riding my bike to the office, I'm
Mm-hmm.
listening to it. And then the other factor is always ensuring that I'm surrounding myself around good human beings. That's
Okay.
super important.
It is.
People who are helping you continue to strive forward, but challenging you, listening to you in a positive environment. It's like a basket of fruit.
Mm-hmm.
If you have one bad egg in there, or
Mm-hmm.
one bad apple, it's rotten. It will slowly rot
Yes.
every other apple. So you got to
Yes.
remove that rotten apple and always surround yourself around good apples.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big lessons that I learned from one of my mentors, it's a quick story, is
Mm-hmm.
so divide your time into three equal parts,
Okay.
33% each.
Mm-hmm.
So your first set of time is spend it with those who are like you.
Okay.
You and I, Karen, we can go hang out, we can talk the same things, we jive, we're businesswomen, we're very focused, yet we love family, we love our friends. So we have very, I guess, a lot of things in common.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that same mindset, same outlook on life. And then next 33%, so the second level is spend it with those who have already achieved it, who have showed
Okay.
you that there's no glass ceiling, who have showed you
Mm-hmm.
that there's infinite possibility. So you can learn from them and see what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And by challenging yourself and your mind is already thinking, okay, what I'm doing, is that going to bring me further forward, right? And
Yeah.
by being able to visualize and see that it's possible because someone else has done it, makes you already believe it. So visualize and believing, right?
Yeah.
And then the last 33% is super important. It is giving that time back to those who are maybe the younger versions of you that
Mm.
haven't achieved yet, that still need someone to learn from.
Yeah.
And by giving back your time, it also keeps you humble, and it also challenges you to make you feel appreciative of how far you've come, but
Yeah.
also gives you a sense of purpose, that there is something bigger than you
Mm-hmm.
and you are making an impact. So
Yeah.
that cycle of life, that cycle of making sure that you're structuring your time in those 33 of those 33%
Mm-hmm.
really brings that energy flowing.
Yeah.
And for me, that's helped me remind myself that we're all here to experience life. That's
Yeah.
really what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
This life experience. And so,
Mhm.
yes, get your experience, but make sure you're learning, sharing, and giving back.
Oh, I hope a lot of people take that advice and start using it because that is great advice. It really is. So thank you
It
for
helped
sharing
me.
that. Absolutely. Now, Marissa, what is something you believe now that you would have strongly disagreed with 10 years ago?
Oh, there's so many. Uh, the biggest thing I would say is the belief in yourself.
Mm,
To know that you can do anything, anything is possible. If you
yeah.
had asked me 9 years ago that I'd be running a multi-million dollar business and I'd be living in London, traveling the world, working with my family, build this family empire with them,
Yeah.
that I've seen the world and I've created all of these amazing events, I've been to all the most amazing events, I'd be like, Karen, no
Yeah.
chance. Like, that's just a dream.
Yeah.
And to be able to say, I bet on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely am so happy that I did. And the ROI on that is infinite.
Mm-hmm.
And not only bet on myself, but I bet on my family. I bet on people bet on me.
Yeah.
And I, if I could tell anybody
Mm-hmm.
one advice out of my 9 years of building this is
Mm-hmm.
bet on yourself.
Yeah. And that was my next question was I was going to ask you that what advice would you give to someone just like kind of standing on that edge of reinvention, but they're so afraid to let go?
Everyone reinvents themselves and
Yeah.
our bodies reinvent itself, right?
Hmm.
Our atoms, our molecules, we're like a whole new different person every few months, and the new skin, our bodies regenerate and so forth. You're always reinventing yourself. So
Hmm.
whether it's from the outside, inside, everything. So why not be intentional with the version and who you want to be?
Hmm.
This is your life. You can
Yeah.
design it however way you want to. And whether your parents or friends or husband or wife or people say to you that you can't, who are you? You flip that around and say, I am.
Yes. 100%.
I
Yeah.
am whoever you want to be. So if
Hmm.
I am a business owner, I am a superstar performer, I am an amazing talk show host, I am podcast owners of however many podcasts you want to own. Do it.
And I think the hardest part is just starting. That's the hardest part. People start thinking, what if this person says this? What if I look foolish? What if I don't make it? There's so many what ifs, but like I love that you said bet on yourself is the number one thing.
But what if you didn't do it,
Yeah.
right? And
You're
what if people are going to talk about you even if you started it or if you did not start it?
Yeah.
So give them something to talk about.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, people get rewarded
Yeah.
for the things that they actually do in public, but
Hmm.
they practice relentlessly in private.
Yeah. Hmm.
So we got to put our heads down,
Hmm.
focus, get it
Hmm.
right, practice, 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 keep going, but don't wait,
Yeah.
right? Like
Hmm.
put it out there, pivot, get people's opinions, see how it goes. Find a problem that's out there that you can solve
Yeah.
and add value to the world. And I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest thing that I see from a lot of business owners and so forth. They put out what they think that they want to do out in the world, which is great, but they're not solving a problem.
Which is huge. That's the main thing. You got to be able to solve a problem. Hmm.
So I found a niche where I solved a problem that people wanted great events, they just didn't have access to it. How do you get
Hmm.
them access to it? Well, we have the access.
Yeah.
And then individuals wanted access. So we gave them that access. And we
Hmm.
just continually focus on helping people get access. And then
Yeah.
it grew from there. And
Yeah.
And you know what? If it's aligned to what you're passionate about and
Yeah.
it's aligned to helping other people,
Hmm.
it is one thing that I find in this world that we forget
Yeah.
that we are all here to help each other.
And look at you, you're a rock star doing it. So you're
Thank you. So are
definitely a prime
you?
example. Now, where can our listeners find you?
Yeah, so I am active on LinkedIn. So if you
Okay.
type in Marisa W, Marisa W,
Mhm.
on social media, you'll see more behind the scenes, my personal
Yeah.
life. So it's Experience with Marisa, so Marisa with
Hmm.
one S,
Hmm.
Experience with Marisa. And that's just my, my day-to-day life, just to inspire, to share, no filter, nothing. And then in terms of if you want to download my book, that's going to be coming out in a few months where people will have early access to it. I'm
Yeah.
super excited because it's a collection of people that I met along my journey, their involvement in my life and things that I've learned from them.
Hmm.
I just wish I was a fly on the wall for half of these conversations. If, just even one nugget that I can pull
Yeah.
from some of these conversations, we
Yeah.
did, and I put that into the book. So you can check that out on marisawong.com.
I'm so excited for you. And now, Marissa, I don't want this interview to end, but I know we have to. And I'm
Yes,
sure you're getting a call for your next interview,
all
but
good things have to come to an end.
I have one more question that I ask every single one of my guests. In one word, what does reinvention mean to you?
I love that question. So, as I think about that word reinvention, I
Mm-hmm.
think about who am I becoming?
Mm.
And as you reinvent, it's like peeling back another layer, like
Yeah.
similar like an onion, right? And refining who you are. But it's really then is about coming back to your nucleus of who are you becoming?
Mm.
And it's so beautiful that we get to reinvent ourselves to who we want to be. What do we love? What do we not love? What really align with our inner core? And as we get down to our inner core, who is that? Who is that Karen? Who is that Marissa? And what is our legacy that we're going to leave behind? Because at the end of it, we are just a speckle, a dust.
Yeah.
But how did we make this world a better place? Did we,
Yes.
leave it at in a place where people can remember?
Hmm.
Or did we destroy it? Or did we not do anything and utilize our time well here? So for me, it's becoming, and I'm slowly every day learning the beautiful version of who I am.
Yeah.
And I love reinventing. I love, refining my skill sets, the people, and I get to do that by connecting with people like yourself,
Yeah.
and learning from other leaders and people, and even just like, you know, people just on the streets and having conversations with them and learning about their life stories, or whether it's the next event that we create.
Hmm.
Everybody has an impact in helping you reinvent who you are, whether you want to take it in or not.
Yes.
So for me, it's about becoming, and I'm excited of what 2026 has in store for all of us,
Yeah.
as we become the better versions of ourselves.
Well, Marissa, thank you so much. This conversation, it reminded me that reinvention doesn't always look loud and dramatic. Sometimes it looks like choosing intention over impulse. I love this connection. I really just love this. So thank you so much for bringing depth and clarity and just humanity to the space. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me on board, and I'm looking forward to more of our conversations.
Yes, absolutely. And to the listeners, if today's episode resonated with you, I invite you to reflect on this. Where in your life are you choosing access instead of
Mm.
connection? Not choosing, I'm sorry, chasing access instead of. So ask yourself, where in your life are you chasing access instead of connection? So this
Mm.
has been, yeah, Reinvention Real Talk. I'm Karen Larea, and I will see you next time. Thank you, Marissa, again.
Thank you, Karen, for the connection.